I'm Delia Hare, but everybody calls me Dee, and I'm going to show you today what kind of crafts you can make using cheap things from the Dollar Tree. I love going to the Dollar Tree because they're so, everything's $1, so it's very inexpensive. So what we're going to start with are flip-flops that were $1, and all of these projects are going to use artificial flower bunches that were gotten at the Dollar Tree. So you can get a variety of types of flowers. You can get large flower blossoms. You can get smaller flower blossoms. You can get tiny ones that look like this. They're in a variety of colors, and some of them are kind of just generic flowers, but you can see these are meant to be dogwoods. They would be very pretty for Easter craft. They have tulips sometimes, so you can get tulip flowers, roses. I'm going to do a project with pansies. So there's a wide variety of flowers that you can get at the Dollar Tree for just $1 a bunch. They're very easy to take off. Most of the time, if you're going to use the blossoms, you just pull them and they pop off very easily. Sometimes if you want to cut them, I recommend either getting some wire cutters or using an old pair of scissors, because cutting through that wire stem will really ruin your good scissors. So I keep a pair of yucky scissors that I use for cutting wire and cutting plants and things like that. I like using hot glue for this project because it goes really, really quickly. I did one pair already. This time of year you can get Hawaiian leis at the dollar store that actually have more blossoms than what these bunches have, if you want to do that. So this is a pair I had pre-made. And what we're going to do is on our flip-flop, we're going to start right there in the middle. When your blossoms come off, they have a little piece of plastic attached to them. Sometimes you want to leave that plastic in, and sometimes you want to take it out, just depending on what your project is. For this project, I like taking the plastic part out. So we're going to pull that out. Put a dab of hot glue, and because this is hot dip glue, you have to be careful and kind of tap it into place. Go to our next one, take our plastic piece out, go down a little bit so they're kind of evenly spaced apart. Put your hot glue and put it into place. So like I said, these come off really easy. They just pop right off. You only need about 6 or 8 blossoms per flip-flop, so it goes really quickly. And you'll have some left over that you could use for another project. I burn myself a lot with a hot glue gun, so you just have to be careful because the blossoms are so thin that you don't burn your fingers. They are also in a variety of sizes, so I like trying to pick for a project like this and try to get all uniform sizes so that it looks about the same. You can also find at the Dollar Tree packs of little fabric butterflies that you could add to your flip-flops for more decoration. They have packs of stones and gems that you could put on your flip-flops for more decoration. I found this container of butterflies that we're going to use later on in a project, but you could also add some of those to your flip-flops for some more bling. Then we're going to do one more. I'll try not to scream out when I do get hot glue on my finger. And I think maybe I'll do one more on this other side. problem with doing this in a library setting would be with your teens that you would have to really caution them to watch out and not burn their fingers. I think maybe you could have some toothpicks or some skewers or some chopsticks or something to help push these into place so that they're not using their fingers like I did. But this is how it turns out. And when you get the other one done, you'll have a matching pair of flip-flops. So that's our first really quick and easy craft using the artificial flowers and stuff from the Dollar Tree. The next thing that we're going to make are headbands. I have pre-made a few with the flowers. I used a really big flower for this one. This kind of bunch of headbands were in a pack 3 for $1, so they really were only 33 cents each one. So this is a very, very inexpensive project, you know, way less than $1 per headband. I used a big blossom for this one, but on this one I used some little teeny blossoms and it came out really pretty. These had holes in them which were really easy, nice to help put the flowers on. So the first one I'm going to demonstrate is another one from that pack that has the big holes in the headband. And with this project, you don't want to put your flower right in the center because that would look kind of silly. You know, most people wear their flowers on the side, so we're going to move it over to the side of your headband. And this one was pre-cut from another stem, another bunch of flowers, so it has a really long stem, so when we get finished, we're going to trim that off so it's not poking you in the head. So for this one, we're going to also leave the leaves on there. For a lot of these other projects, we're not using the leaves, but you can save these leaves and use them at other times or for other projects. But for this one, I think it looks kind of neat with the leaves on there, so we're going to use still leave the leaves. I'm going to put hot glue around the base there where everything is joined together. And then we're going to stick it through one of these holes. It'll nestle down. Once you get it in there good, you can kind of manipulate it however you want, push it down. You can also do that after the glue has already dried. And since that had that very long stem, we're going to use our yucky scissors here. And we're just going to cut that out so it's more flush. And it's probably going to pop everywhere. There it goes. Hopefully I didn't hit my camera person when I did that. So there's your Hawaiian hibiscus lily, whatever kind of flower that is, headbands. We'll leave that there so the hot glue can finish setting. The second headband I'm gonna demonstrate is a different style. This one has the elastic part that goes behind at the back of your head and has a little bit different design for the actual headband part. So I'm going to use the same technique I use with these little flowers, and I'm going to cover the entire portion of the hard plastic part with these little pansy flowers. And because the little plastic pieces, when you pull the artificial flowers apart, that's kind of what helps them keep their shape. Sometimes you want to take that apart and sometimes you don't. So for this project, we are going to leave the plastic piece in so that it keeps its nice little pansy shape. And because our bunch of pansies had a couple of different color variations, there were some more solid purple ones, and then the yellow ones, and then some that went more towards white. We're going to really make sure that we use a variety of those for our headband. And since we have more purple, I'm going to start with a purple one in the very center. I'm going to put hot glue around our edge of our plastic piece. And then push that through. Of course, your hot glue strings get everywhere. And then I think I'm going to do a yellow one on each side of the purple one. Let's see if I pull that one apart. So we'll do maybe a yellow and a white. Looks like that one may have been left over from another project. Put our hot glue around the plastic part. And let's see, put it So what I'm doing there is pushing the stem through the middle part of the headband. We'll move on to our yellow one, and I need some more hot glue. Push that through right there. And I think maybe we'll do one more purple one on the other far side. And then that will be what our headband looks like. So you could have done fewer, or you could try to squeeze in a few more. And we'll set that aside here to dry. And when your headbands are finished, you just pop them on. And this is how they look. So this is the big blossom, and then the little blossom. And they're both very cute for teenage girls and their hair accessories. For our third project, this is more involved and takes a little bit longer, so I've pre-done some of the tasks. It's going to be covering a picture frame with flowers that have been cut apart. So this is the one that I had started already, and if you can see, if it'll zoom in, if you use hot glue, the blossoms are so thin that the hot glue really shows through, and I don't like the way that looks. So I'm going to show you how to hide that on this one. But on the one I'm going to demonstrate, I'm going to try to use craft glue. This is Aleene's Tacky Glue, and it's kind of the standard for crafters. It's supposed to dry clear, so that we shouldn't have this problem. But what I have done is taken a bunch of flowers like this, and I've already popped the heads off of them and cut the petals apart so that they're into single petals. And when I'm using craft glue, I just like to use my fingers. Some people don't like to do that, but I find it's easier to work with. So I've got some craft glue. I'm going to put just a little bit on my blossom and just cover the edge of the frame with your glue. Of course, these blossoms are in different sizes, so you kind of want to pick the larger size for your first round. This example that I had already done just has 2 rounds of flowers, so we're going to pick the larger ones for our first round. And you just go in a single line and cover the edges of your frames with the petals. This is a good thing to do. This craft frame, as I said, came from the Dollar Tree. It looked fine. It was wrapped in plastic. When I unwrapped it, though, you can see it has a lot of dings and scratches on the frame. So if you've got a frame that you've bought and you want to disguise it, this is a good way, a good craft project to use to disguise all your little dings. So for this demonstration, I'm just going to do the top edge. Got the first layer almost finished. When you get to the corners, you kind of want to turn those kind of in to make it have a nice kind of rounded shape. So on this last one, I'm going to kind of tilt it in just a little bit. And then on your second row of your slightly smaller blossoms, we'll start here, and I like to kind of nestle those in between the spaces for where your bigger flower blossoms were. Of course, you can do as many layers as you think looks good. Didn't have enough glue on that one. If you want a fuller look, you can always do more. So when you go around and into the spaces, I also, when I do that, I keep a wet paper towel to kind of clean my fingers. This is what you end up with, I have put, I've got it upside down. I have put 2 of the larger blossoms here in the bottom corner to kind of anchor it and give it some more interest. And then I've used some different colored, smaller flowers to help hide the hot glue marks from this one. But because I didn't have any more of those to demonstrate, oh, I've got one more. I can do one more. This one, for the one in the very corner, because you're putting it into the corner of the frame and you've got more support there, you can leave the plastic piece in, which keeps the little fake stamen in there, and you have that little bit of extra interest. For the second one, though, I took the plastic piece out so that it laid flush to the frame. So what I'm going to do is go back, with this one I'm going to go back to the hot glue, put it around that plastic piece, and then I'm going to nestle that right there into the corner. And that helps camouflage some of those hot glue marks from before.